Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to the very first episode of Prison Architect with all of the DLCs enabled, which originally aired live on Twitch. Alright, welcome. So we are going to poke around the new DLC content that I hadn't really streamed before, and we're going to be doing that together. Let me get a... So the warden here, to take advantage of the new going green content, we can either be the botanist or the biologist. So the botanist, I'm just going to mute the music for a second. The botanist is someone who is better at farming, essentially. The spoiling time of the crops and stuff like that is a little bit longer. And then the ecologist is someone who is going to be able to take more advantage of green energy. The choice is up to you, so I'm going to pick between these two. And we are going to try to make a green prison as part of the Going Green DLC, because without that, I really won't be able to showcase Going Green. So the botanist does more farming, the ecologist does more power. And I'm going to start putting on my own music and get through this this menu music quickly. I'm also going to do island plot. I'm going to build on an island. It's going to be a procedurally generated island, and I'm going to do my very best at not terraforming the island at all. Also, Glitch and Dem Tacos and Shield and Sky, thanks for the resubs and bits, and Sharpie Man. Welcome all. Alright, looks like the ecologist is going to be the winning choice here. I'm going to pick the dog that most resembles Yoda, because, I mean, why not have him guard? So, I'll be essentially enabling all of the difficulties here. So we're going to make this really rough on ourselves, because why not? Whoop. Okay, that was weird. The ecologist with the bowtie bandit dog. We're going to be an island plot. We are going to have gangs, criminally insane inmates, dynamic reputations, events, prison transfers, weather and temperature, staff plans, and escape plans, or staff needs and escape plans. So all of it. All of it. I'm not going to bother generating lakes because we're already going to be on an island. Okay. That is the very start. And this is what our island looks like here. So I'm going to pretend like you all have never played before and just go from the 30,000 foot description of the game, which can actually be found at the About command. So I'll read it out for the purpose of YouTube. Prison Architect is a game where you build and manage a prison. Allocate resources to optimize your compound, but don't restrict the flow of the crowd lest you encounter a flood, fire, fight, or full-blown riot. Ensure your prison is mostly ethical, mostly, and safe with top-notch staff, including armed guards, psychologists, doctors, lawyers, snitches. Now, with all of the features I just enabled for this new prison, like events and weather and temperature and staff needs, we are going to have to care for a lot of things. Additionally, this is our starting plot. As you can see, it is about a third of the total physical area, which is going to be tough. It's going to be pretty tough. Is this going to be named Alcatraz? No, we're on a green island. This is all green energy. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn off inmate intake. I'm basically have no facilities for inmates, so I don't want to take them in. Let's read some of the guidelines here together, so you get what's going on. Dear Sir, here are some important guidelines to ensure you are prepared with the appropriate facilities and staff in order to properly care. So here's the thing. initially, I'm probably not going to invite criminally insane inmates into my prison, but with that said, inmates can go insane under my caretake. But all right, I'll read this. Criminally insane inmates must have padded cells. You can transform standard cells into padded cells. Once you have padded cells, you'll be able to accept your first batch of inmates. Make sure you have psychiatrists and orderlies, staff members on your payroll. Psychiatrists will also require a special office. Set up some psychiatric consultation programs for your criminally insane inmates. Left and untreated, a criminal insane inmate may exhibit unpredictable behaviors, etc. Orderlies will help escort and heal. Criminally insane inmates mixing with others can sometimes lead to trouble. Keep them separate. Finally, inmates from other security levels now have a chance to become criminally insane, so keep an eye out. All right. I skimmed that, of course. Read the CEO's letter. Dear Sir, congratulations on completing your basic introduction. You are now a fully qualified prison architect. Yay! So you'll be designing and running your own prisons, starting from nothing but an empty plot of land and a few stacks of bricks. Before you get started, I thought I might share some important lessons with you. Every prison needs a warden. Me or Yoda. It really depends on, who's the warden, but okay. And the warden initially helps to research things like bureaucracy and security and maintenance, that kind of thing. Individual jail cells are expensive, especially early on. Save money, but with a single large holding cell, which can be shared between many prisoners at once. Get your kitchen and canteen up and running so you can feed them. It's a rather expensive undertaking, so accept grants to help pay for it. And then here is the letter from the CEO about the island bound, because I am a little island here. Islands, depending on your prison circumstances, you may have no physical link to the mainland, which is true. So you will use boats and helicopters. They will require docks and helipads. Ferry docks, which can be built to link islands together, as well as bridges and stepping stones. Your prison can now be better protected with elite ops and helicopters that fight fires from the air. Customizing deliveries and transports via the logistics button, which is down here, it's grayed out right now, will allow me to increase my prison's efficiency. I can landscape. Basically, it's telling me that I can add water, add land, etc., etc. Like I said, I'm going to try to build a prison on this little island without having to landscape. Now, with that said, I can buy new islands, and we can island hop or connect them, but we'll see about that. New security measures. Contraband can now arrive via boats or helicopters. Build scanner machines in delivery and storage areas to check crates and boxes. You'll need an alert guard to watch to check on the scanning monitor. And then even islands aren't escape proof, so make sure no one swims away. Got it. All right, accept my first grant. So here's where you guys are going to come in handy. Right off the bat, we're going to have to decide what kind of prisoners I'm going to initially admit to my prison. So I should probably go through, the list. Minimum security prisoners, I don't get paid a lot, but they're not violent. So if I did want to run things like a large farm, a prisoner-run farm, or have prisoners help out in the kitchen, prisoners help out with cleaning, that kind of thing, you don't want dangerous prisoners to do those tasks, because if let's say you have a prisoner helping with farming, you're giving them access to escape tools, you're giving them access to like shears and trowels and things that could be used as a weapon. So the lower the security level of the prisoner, the more I can have them be incorporated into the working in my prison. Medium security is what I would consider like standard. Now with that said, if a medium security prisoner is well behaved, they can actually be dropped down to minimum or be up for parole and get released or whatever. And then, of course, if you have like a minimum security prisoner that like shivs a guard, they're going to immediately jump up to like medium or maximum, so on and so forth. So you've got minimum, medium, maximum. Now, at the moment, as you can see here, the only prisoners I have available to even be imported into my little island is 2 minimum and 6 medium, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to pick from that. Then we also have maximum, supermax, criminally insane, and legendary prisoner. Legendary prisoners are ones that have a bunch of positive stats, like they're extremely dangerous, they're extremely tough, so on and so forth. They're basically the worst case scenario legendary prisoner. You could have a legendary prisoner able to like kill half of your guards, like with their bare hands. They're very, very, very tough to deal with. And that's why, of course, the payment is so high. So with that said, I'm not going to, let me hide that poll. What sort of prison do we want to make? So I'm just going to call it like this. We have a mixed population where we sort of admit like a smattering of everybody. A reformatory, one where we take medium and minimum security prisoners and try to reform them and try to parole them and get them back into society. You know, like a good prison, like, I don't know, Norway might have, or Sweden or something like that. A supermax, you know, turn this into a bit of an Alcatraz, armed guards and sniper towers and guard dogs and all that. Or something balanced. I guess I didn't have a criminally insane only, but the thing is, there's not enough intake for me to do a criminally insane. But at some point down the line, if you guys want me to convert this over to like a criminally insane prison, that's fine, and I can do that. So it looks to me like a reformatory might be ideal. One of the advantages of the reformatory is it will allow me to take the most advantage out of going green, because a lot of the going green content, you will need prisoners that won't necessarily murder you in your sleep. Okay. You can find pages of notes that are like hidden around, sometimes triggered. So I'm gonna let you vote for like 1 more minute, but we'll go with the reformatory. That also means that, well, if it wins, that also means that I should accept some initial grants. The first and easiest grant, in my opinion, is the administrative center. All you need to do for the administrative center is to hire a warden and build 2 offices and then hire an accountant. That is some easy money. So up here, as you can see, I have a bank balance of 30,000, and then I have a daily cash flow. Trying to make as much money from grants as possible is absolutely ideal. And initially you can accept 2 grants. So the 2 really, really easy grants for me to do right off the bat might be something like Green Machine, where I set up all my power with renewables, and Admin Center, where I just set up some offices. Those are low-hanging fruit that I can pluck for some quick money. So right off the bat, you get an advance of the grant. The advance of the grant is like upfront money that you can spend how you want. And then once you complete it, you get some more money. So for Green Machine, here's what's going to be interesting. You can make a lot of money exporting power back to the grid. Now, I know it doesn't make a lot of sense because I'm on an island. How the heck do you export power when you're on an island? But it just works, okay? It just works. So we do have our boat dock here, and you can always move your boat dock if you want. And your boat dock has 2 zones, one for garbage and one for deliveries. If I have an admin center, we're going to want to decide roughly where this admin center goes. Now, offices are required to be a 4x4 sized area. So what I'm going to want to do is to probably have my offices near the perimeter. I basically want to keep the prisoners in the center of the prison and not near the edges, because if they do, let's say, get through a wall, they should have to get through more than just one barrier to then jump in the ocean or whatever this is. Maybe I'm in a lake. Maybe it's a supermax in a lake. I have no idea. But we should make it difficult for them to escape. So I tend to like to put my my office buildings, like, you know, sort of nestled by the edges of the map, so that if a prisoner does escape, they're going to have to, they're going to have to break through multiple office buildings as well, not just through like one fence or something like that. So I am going to be laying out some office buildings. Here we have 5 office buildings, or at least the blueprints for 5 office buildings. So initially, we have the ability to hire a warden, but if we take a look at the... Well, I don't have bureaucracy right now. If we hire this warden, if we take a look at the bureaucracy, your finance accountants will require offices, your security chief will require an office, your foreman needs an office, your psychologist needs an office, your legal needs an office. So it does help to plan out where your offices are going to be. All right, so now that we have this planning, there's 2 ways to do this. Either I can put down the foundations myself, or I can just say build plans. And if I say build plans, let's build them with brick wall, boom. Now all of these, all these here are going to be laid out with brick wall. Now, unfortunately, I actually need foundations, not just like brick wall. So I'm going to lay out foundations there too. And then let's get into actually designing the office itself. Each office will have a staff door. A staff door is not a secure door. It doesn't take much effort, much punching, let's say. It's basically just a wood door. But it does allow any staff members with staff keys to walk through it easily. So we're going to have staff doors for the offices, and then I'm just going to let time roll. And what's going to happen here is all of my workmen are going to hop off the boat, and then the supply boat is going to leave and come back with building materials. And here's my warden. I look like a hippie. All right. Another thing I want to do is to set up some renewable energy. So renewable energy is part of the Going Green DLC, and it works a little bit differently than regular power. So let me explain regular power first. Regular power, you just slap down a power station, and then it provides a certain amount of power that you have to pay for. And then if you want to increase the capacity of that, you just add capacitors around the power station, and that's it. For green energy, you have to build your power generators, like your solar power panels, and then you have to transform that energy with a transformer, and then the transformer can be lined with batteries to store the power, and then any extra power that you have can be exported back to the grid with a power export meter. So it's a little bit more complicated, as you can sort of imagine. So initially what I'm going to do is I'm going to find exactly where I want to lay out some solar power panels. And the reason I've put 3 solar power panels here is there's a you unlock more stuff when you, where is that? I forget where it is, but you unlock more renewable energy stuff when you build like 3 solar power panels. So we'll get that rolling. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a concrete building. Let's say, I don't know how big it should be. Well, here is what I could do. I could just go ahead and buy that transformer, and then buy a power meter, and then figure out how big the building needs to house it, because I'm going to want some batteries around this as well. As many batteries as I can store. So I'll place that stuff, and then we can figure out exactly how big it needs to be. All right, another thing I want to do is let's just sell these trees, and that gives me something for the workmen to do while they wait. It'd be cool if you could get a tidal power. That would be pretty cool. Unfortunately, the only options right now are solar, wind, or solar wind hybrid. So there really isn't like tidal, unfortunately. That would be pretty cool. So here, as you can see, we have the workmen that are going to be deployed, and I realize they're setting up doors seemingly in nothing, which is strange, but soon they'll be laying down the foundations. So, our current project is working on initial grants. I just updated that. And we're going to try to get 2 offices done so that I can make the administrative center grant, complete that, and then work on other things. Now that we're cutting the trees, I'm going to be able to sell the lumber for a little bit extra cash, which is going to keep me going. We're going to have a very strange prison. Well, it'll be like an island reformatory. Think of it as like a, maybe it will mimic a bit of like a drug rehab or something like that. Yeah, very green. Let's rip out all these trees. I'll be replacing them with like apple and banana and peach and orange trees. All right, so here is what foundations look like. Rooms need to have foundations underneath them. But if you wanted to wall off like a yard or something like that, they wouldn't need foundations. You could do that with just walls alone. So anything that you're going to install things into, like office desks, chairs, stuff like that, that's going to need a foundation. And then if it doesn't, you know, then you're just going to want a wall. And yeah, I have a ton of packs here. So there is a lot of features here. We even have another boat dock we own that we could deploy. I don't really need another boat dock, so here, let me sell this capacitor for 850. Sell the power station for 4,200 because we're going to be using green energy only. Let's sell the other boat dock. Boom. And let's sell the helipad. We're not going to have a helipad. I mean, I can add it later if I really want it, but I like the little island feel. All right, down here, we're going to slap a brick wall there. And then the game will automatically place lights for you, and I think there's a way to turn that off, but I usually just cancel the lights. So if I go to rooms here and I click office, I can lay out where I want my offices. And then if you zoom in on the office, you'll see the items. It will tell you minimum size of 4x4. It requires an office desk, a chair, or a office chair, or a wooden stool, a filing cabinet, and needs to be indoors. So we'll put a filing cabinet in, and then we'll put office desks, and we'll put office chairs. And you can always use the search bar down here to figure out what you're missing. And then that will be all that the offices require. And once these are all installed, my little guy here will be able to start researching. So right now I've queued up to research finance to complete the admin center, but I require an office before I'm able and allowed to do that. All right, before we put these lights down, and these here will just be other offices that we introduce when we're ready or when we need the additional administrators. Eventually you're given a tool to be able to like copy and paste so that you can sort of build these things without much of just duplicate, but I don't have the tool yet, so we're doing it the old-fashioned way. And yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, it doesn't make that much sense, I'll be honest, but I'm going to set up these offices to be used because I know I'm going to need them sooner than later. And these are very basic offices, but hey, at least they have their own walls, right? All right, for Green Machine, I need to purchase and install wind turbines now. But here, as you can see, because it's a relatively sunny day, current weather sunny, the solar panels that I have here are producing extra power, indicated by the green plus. So now we're going to do some wind. I'm going to set up 3 wind. And then that will unlock the solar wind hybrid, completing the Green Machine grant. And that will be a pretty good amount of power generation initially for my startup prison. Hey, XO, thanks for the bits. Welcome to the stream. right, so here's my transformer. And let's go ahead and decide, or to plan, where this is going to go. How big of a room. I think that will do. Now, the thing about this facility here, I don't intend to have my prisoners be able to gain access to this room. So I don't really need to worry about what kind of door is there. But I'm going to dismantle this transformer so I can move it down one so I can fit more batteries around it. Do I think I'm going to run out of room quickly? Yes. I'm likely to run out of room very, very fast if I try to build a very expansive island. But the thing is, I will be able to also, once I unlock finance, buy adjacent land and have it render islands for me to then chain my islands together with like footbridges or ferries or something like that. So I do have the possibility of adding new territory, but I'm going to restrict myself to not terraforming. Now, if you wanted to terraform, you could just select the dirt tool and just like drag a whole bunch of squares of dirt and immediately get free land out of this. But it would sort of negate the whole thing that I'm on an island. It wouldn't feel like an island if I did that. All right, so now my warden is researching finance because this office has fulfilled all of its requirements, even though it has a stack of 19 bricks in it. And let me speed up time a little bit. So I'm going to have him research finance, but also I'm going to want him to research security and maintenance as well. And probably micromanagement, prison policy, and psychology. And probably health at some point as well. But that's all under the warden tree. So there we are. The green energy goal number 2 is completed. And that's going to unlock the hybrid for me. The power hybrid of being able to do solar and wind. It's basically just a wind with like 2 solar panels on it. Strange, yes, I know, but it's just... Never seen that in real life. Put it that way. Hey, Roku, thanks for the resub. All right. This transformer is being moved once it gets dismantled. And then, as you can see here, there's a, I know it's tiny, but there's a little number 1 here. It's an indicator that I own one, so all I have to do is put another transformer down. There we go. We're reinstalling it. It doesn't, I don't believe, needs to be indoors, but I don't mind it to be indoors. Okay. So there's the transformer. And now to hook this up, we need these power generators to bring power to the transformer. And then we're going to want batteries. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 4 batteries to start. Do you have to run power to buildings? Yes. The power cables will provide power within, I think, like 5 cells or so. But I will need to run power cables from here all the way down to here to power up my offices, if I want my offices to be powered. So there we go. We just completed the green energy grant, and I gained a 5,000 for that. And let's take a look at the other grants. I am going to allow you, which next grant, to vote on the next grant. So eco-friendly is a grant where I only use green power for 5 days, which will be easy for me to do. It's just basically I get money in 5 days. Basic farming is for me to start farming. A basic detention center is, you know, the initial laying out like a holding cell, a shower, yard, kitchen, canteen, hire 2 cooks, hire 2 guards, like a starter prison. We've got inmate health, I'll just call it. which is getting a doctor and a little infirmary, and staff well-being, which is a staff room and hiring 5 guards. So, have at it. The votes 1 through 5, it's right over there. Now, you do get offered additional, as you can see, there are even more that are locked, additional grants that have prerequisites. So soon we will have, you know, a smattering of interesting choices. So also what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my power export meter to my transformer so that I will be exporting power that I generate. And then let's go ahead and bring these cables all the way down to my offices. It's a lot of cabling, I know. Then up here, another thing I'm going to do is let's maybe right in this area. I'm going to put a I'm going to put another little facility, and this will have my water pump. Okay, eco-friendly it is. Free money in 5 days. Finance is almost done being researched, and I'll be able to get my admin center after hiring an accountant. And here, the financial compensation of the power, the green power that I'm generating that I can export back to the grid, is $6. Don't worry, this goes up with time. You can make a lot of money exporting power, if that's how you want me to play. All right, and here it's telling you, you know, how to export power, how to transform green energy into usable power, how to produce green energy, that kind of thing. Do you have to feed the workers? Yes, I do. So if I had a psychologist, which I currently do not have, if I had a psychologist, I could see the needs of my staff. Now, workers, this sounds evil, but workers, I can like fire them and hire new ones if they throw a fuss. Generally speaking, really early game, you're given a lot of latitude about how much you need to provide. But later on, I will need to have staff bathrooms, a staff break room, staff canteen to be able to feed them, all those good things. All right, and I think finance is now done. So let me go hire the accountant. And boom, 5,000 for that. All right, so we have short-term and long-term invest are now options. Oh, it doesn't all fit. Well, no, it does. Okay. So there's short-term and long-term investments, which I have unlocked because I unlocked finance. And then for finance, I could also have her research the ability to have an extra grant. So for me to have 3 grants running at once rather than the 2. So I'm researching that as well. And as you can see, they're both researching. And soon those offices should be powered on. We're getting there. Yep, there they go. Power's on. Looks nice. My little island getaway. All right, I actually don't need to add the wall in there. I'm just going to add the pumping station here. All right, basic detention center. That will get the ball rolling for me. So picking up a basic detention center, we need to build a few things. I need to build a holding cell. A holding cell is essentially just an initial little box with a toilet and a bench that can have prisoners. It's not really designed for long-term It's more designed for short term. But here's a big question I have for you all. Well, we're not quite at... The big question is, should I have individual cells or a dormitory? So if I have a reformatory, if I'm trying to reform people, most of the inmates I have aren't going to be too dangerous, meaning that they could live in sort of a dorm barracks setting, saving me room and facilities. But I'm happy to build it either way. But what I am going to do is I'm going to start to set up... everything else I need. Oh, here's a little notebook. Notebook page. I'm going to start to set up everything else I'm going to need. So, one of the things that you're going to want to build close to your dock here is probably a canteen and a reception. So I'm going to build a tiny little reception here. This will be a reception. And what this reception will do is it will sort of intake inmates, so that new inmates will pass through reception, and it's a good way to do some initial scanning, let's call it, of inmates. So one of the things I could do here is add a wall. What did I make this out of? Concrete. Add a wall here like that, and then throw down a metal detector. Which scans everybody incoming into reception for contraband, or at least metal-based contraband. And then if I have a reception like here, if I have a visiting center, my visiting center can also be forced through reception. And no, reception doesn't need to be bigger than this. It needs to be, it doesn't actually have a minimum size. It just needs an office desk, tables, and chairs, which is pretty easy to meet. All right, looks like a dormitory setting looks to be maybe the popular choice. Okay, there we go. We got a water pump now. So we have the ability to pump water. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have it be a hybrid of cell and dormitory. Cells for our medium security and dormitory for our minimum security. So if people have demonstrated that they are not dangerous, we will allow them to be, in a dormitory. But if they are dangerous, we bump them up to, their own prison cell. And the prison cells, what I'm going to try to do is design the prison cells so that they're not as nice as the dormitory, so that my, the people that I have will want to ideally be in the prison cells. All right, so for this, we just need a table, chairs, and a few desks. Yeah, there we go. That's all the reception needs to be. Just basic intake. And then the game will tell you to build a holding cell. I don't generally use holding cells. Holding cells are useful, I guess, if you have like overflow. If all of a sudden you have too many inmates and you don't have enough facilities to place them. The thing is I have like a little island prison. I'm not going to have like large intakes. So a holding cell doesn't really make all that much sense because I have such a limited island population here. But regardless, I'm still required by detention centers to build one, so we're gonna get it anyway. I'm just going to select the short-term investment here for me to get, because it's sort of an obvious choice. All right, another thing I'm going to want to do here is to probably wall off this section here. So everything beyond this door here will be inside the prison, and my staff out here are outside the prison. At this point, we have the ability to hire What else have I unlocked? I've unlocked a foreman. So let's hire a foreman. And have the foreman start researching groundskeeping, cleaning, prison labor, and farming. A whole lot of research. All right. Now, another thing I'm going to want to do is to build a canteen and a kitchen. I'm going to have my... I'm going to let this building finish off, and then I'm going to start building it off of the holding cell. So this here will be my holding cell. Let me fulfill its requirements, which is... It doesn't need a light, but I'm going to throw a light in. It just wants a bench and a toilet. It's not a very attractive room, in other words. Do I need bathrooms yet? Without having psychology unlocked, I really honestly don't even know. I can't figure out staff needs without one. Probably. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. So if we're going to want bathrooms for our employees, let's get an employee bathroom. I'm just going to put one... I'll put them here. I'll put 2. I don't have a staff rec room yet, though. And they're going to eventually want a place to recuperate downtime and all. But we'll get that in the long run. All right, so here we go. We have a holding cell. This holding cell, of course, does not currently have running water. So what I'm going to do is have a main line come down from my pumping station just above the holding cell, because the holding cell is also going to be connected to my canteen, which will require a lot of water. So I'm going to build a kitchen here. Let's do 9 by 7 seems good. And then what I'm going to do here is this, because I'm doing a reformatory, I'm not too worried about people that break out of the prison. So I'm going to have a staff door to the outside. It does run a risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. And then my actual canteen will be here, attached to my holding cell. Yeah, I'm selling for about 500 watts a day back to the grid. Good stuff. All right, so these are pretty luxurious bathrooms if you ask me. Here, I'll put it. There we go. And then what else can we do here in this bathroom? What else would you want in a bathroom? Maybe a sink. Wash your hands before going back to work. All right, let's do a sink and mirror. Yeah, seems about right. All right, so for those to have water, we're also going to want this main pipe to run all the way down here as well. There we go. And we'll get that plumbed. Yeah, I could add a trash can. A waste bin, I think they call it. Where is it? Bin. We can put it outside. Now, I also will require a staff room, but I'm not jumping to build that just yet. Oh, and let's fix some of this weird brick parts. Concrete wall here. Just for aesthetics only. Over here, we're also going to want lights. And now we have the ability to go to the bathroom inside our prison for our staff. Do I want to invest in tax relief? Probably not. I'm going to have finance just idle right now. All right, so we have the canteen and the kitchen going. Then another thing I'm going to want to do is to figure out what our dormitory is going to look like, which means planning it, right? So later on, you're going to need to build visiting centers and parole and schooling and that kind of stuff. So for the visiting centers and parole hearing offices and stuff like that, I'm going to want to leave some of the sections here unused. And the reason being is eventually you don't want your visitors to have to travel so extraordinarily far deep into your prison. You want them somewhat near your reception. You don't want them to, go far into the prison. So what that leaves us is putting our cells, our dormitory cells, at the fringes. So over here, clearly this is sort of utilities. So I'm going to want to leave this area alone because I don't want my prisoners to be able to knock out the power or water to my base. Knocking out the power, of course, makes it really difficult to surveil and all that. And then knocking out the water, if they set fires, if I wanted to burn the prison to the ground to break out, having easy access to knock out, the power into to the prison would be kind of a problem. Don't I need a wall between reception and office? No, not yet. I'm not done with that part anyway. All right, so here is the kitchen area, and the kitchen is really, really, really simple. It depends on if I'm going to have a pantry later on, though, and I'll probably have a pantry. A pantry is used to store crops that you farm, so that you can grow your own food for your own kitchen, and there's some big benefits to doing that. But here we're just going to add some cookers, some fridges, and some sinks. It doesn't leave a lot of room for a larger kitchen, but we have a pretty small island, and I'll have to deal with that if we do expand our pop. And then those sinks are also going to need to be ooh, that's hot water. Not that. Our sinks are also going to need to be plumbed. And then the cookers and the refrigerators are going to need to be powered. Some objects require power straight to their to the appliance, and then some can do sphere of influence. So like light bulbs, for instance, don't need to be directly cabled. So everywhere green is somewhere where I have power. But then the metal detector, for instance, requires direct power connection, not just like a distant power connection. Okay, let's get a jail door into our canteen. And this is going to be our prison canteen. Ooh, that is the wrong wall. Which is different than the employee canteen. So there is the concept of two different canteens, and I'm going to be laying out the other type of canteen over here in reception, but with south-facing doors, like this. Hey, Suspicious Slipper, thanks for the sub. Oh, and a pet Yoda? I totally missed that. There you go. All right. So a employee canteen is like I said, also pretty important to have. I'll just speed time up so they could get more of this done. Hopefully also a separate kitchen. No, you don't necessarily need a separate kitchen. In fact, there is a bit of a disadvantage to having a separate kitchen. If you have your prison pop do the cooking for you, and you have a separate kitchen, they're not going to be able to, like, eat. You know, they're not going to be able to cook for you. So this is not a huge canteen. As you can see, there's only seating for, like, 16 or so. So we're going to, you know, we're going to expand up from here gradually. Ooh. No, I don't want you to put those lights in. Dismantle that light. All right. Brick wall. And then this will be another canteen. And I'm going to need logistics. Which I'm researching. I'm going to need the ability to designate certain areas as like staff only and so on and so forth. So, there's the other canteen. This might not be large enough. I might have to add to this. Yeah, let me add one more section to it. Hey, Tox. I can also disable automatic under foundations. Yeah, I should do that. Let's turn off auto lights, as it's just been bugging me. All right, so we got a canteen, we got a holding cell. I'm gonna do the staff canteen. We'll get a serving table. And some smaller seating. Very quaint. And that's going to be for staff only. All right. So in logistics, I'll be able to determine who goes where and what's for what, that kind of stuff. While we're at it, we might want a staff room. So I'm going to, in this spot, build a staff room so that my staff can relax and all that. So we'll build a door here and here, connecting the staff canteen to the staff lounge, and that will be good. As you've probably noticed, I've put off, let's hire a cook, at least one cook for now. I've put off actually building the dormitory, so we'll do that next, once we get this built. And let's get a janitor and a gardener. So janitor cleans inside buildings, a gardener cleans outside buildings, is the easiest way to, like, classify him. And this is a big staff lounge. I want to take care of my staff. Hey, rest in peace. Cheers. All right, rooms. Staff room. And it requires a drink machine and a sofa. And that's all I'm going to put in for now. Eventually, I'm going to put in more. I'll put in a... I'll put in a TV, though. All right. So other rooms that are going to require to be... Let's pause a second. So rooms that are going to we're going to want to be staff only, so that our prison pop doesn't have access to. Let's think about this. The shop, half of it might be for us only. Same with mailroom. There's a lot of these rooms here that are like sort of half prison, half staff. Storage is definitely probably staff only. And I can just put it like a storage area here. It doesn't need to be indoors for now. Trying to think of what else should be staff only. Mailroom and shop are kind of different. Armory and kennel are definitely staff only. And security is definitely staff only. Security. Yeah, security is an interesting one. We'll get there eventually. You love the Bannerlord series? The gentle nobody? Well, thanks for tuning into a stream. I appreciate it. Okay, dormitory time. So initially, all that we're going to need to do is to house 15 prisoners. That's like the sort of next grant I'm likely to unlock, although it'll be up to you guys what I unlock. But it would be the cell block A. Cell block A has you having a prisoner capacity of 15. So that's sort of the goal. What I'm going to do here is plan it out. So let's try to use most of this area, but I don't want them abutting the sea here for security reasons. So let's say that this is indeed our prison. We're going to want a few dedicated cells, which can be 2x3 like this. A few dedicated cells for the more dangerous prisoners. And then we're also going to want a shower. We're going to want, you know, a shower in sort of a common room. So we can put a shower in here and a common room in here. And then this here could be sort of the entryway. And then this will be a larger dormitory. And as Shield says, don't forget solitary. So solitary is when prisoners have misbehaved, I guess is the way to put it. And we're going to want some solitary cells. And I could, maybe not there. Where? There. Some solitary cells. And this will be accessible only from the outside. That also means that, yeah, and then we'll have just a larger dormitory. All right. Well, if that's the case, let's go ahead and lay out the foundations for it. I didn't give this a lot of thought, so like this might actually be kind of garbage, but it's step one, stage one. I am a firm believer of iterative improvements as I as I progress. So okay, staff room is, well, good. As you can see, the cook here was pissed off because I'm sure his needs weren't being met. But here is what we could do about that. Hire a psychologist, and then if I click on needs, go to reports and click on needs, I can go to staff needs, and we can see that the staff have a critical need for being warm. Because I don't have any water boilers or radiators. I'm not going to do anything about that right now because it's too expensive for me to deal with, sadly. I'm going to focus solely on the prison intake. All right. I'm also going to put a wall here. And then that stops my prisoners from being able to exit east. Pet Yoda? Oh yeah. Maybe I can get a Tusk or an Echo here. I called them. We'll see. Ooh, here comes a Tusk. Oh, both of them. Echo, hop up on the couch. Up, Chile. I got the whole family. My guard dogs. Yeah, the wife isn't home, so I got Echo here. It's pretty much the only time Echo will ever hang out with me. So this is Tusk's paw. You'll just have to believe me that she's getting pet. Come here, girl. Okay, Echo's leaving me. She'd rather be alone than even be with me. I'm deeply insulted. No, she's right here. Hi, Pup. Where are you going? You do realize there's nothing else going on in the house. Okay. Whatever. That's why I don't have a pet Echo, because she's, you're nasty. She's mean and nasty. Yeah, Echo is absolutely not interested in hanging out with me. It's okay. It only hurts my feelings like this much. At least I have you, girl. Come here. Come here. She's so cute. All right, so here's the thing. My staff room here, people are kind of pissed because they're cold. I could do something about this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to install a boiler right here. We're going to pipe water to the boiler, and then we're going to pipe hot water to a radiator so that the staff room is warm. He's complaining about being 54 degrees, though, this cook. I don't know what his issue is. But the radiators, because I have enabled temperature and weather, the radiators are obviously going to be required to heat things as just an added level of complexity and difficulty. Levitating dog? Yeah, it is a real accomplishment. It requires a sizable amount of my magical capabilities, but it makes for a good trick. Right, puppy? It makes for a good trick. Thank you for watching Prison Architect, which originally aired live on Twitch. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. If you're wondering if there will be any more Prison Architect, this series is a result of a poll I put out to all of my viewers where they are able to vote on the games that I play. If Prison Architect gets voted up again, there will be more content beyond the first stream, or alternatively, if you vote for another game, I'll bring that to YouTube as well. If you're curious about the polls, just go to Rhadamant.com or the community tab of Rhadamant Plays on YouTube. My stream schedule and countdown timers for streams can be found at Rhadamant.com as well. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell.